Blake, you gonna behave? Do I need to mute you before I hit this button here?
I'm gonna go ahead and mute him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blessed with a championship prosperity the likes of which we have never seen. Cursed by a past riddled with despair. This is Blursed.
Tuesday again, innit? Welcome back to Blurs. Today is Tuesday, December 12th, and I started speaking a little early there. Man,
December
I hope you guys
13th.
could hear that over the top there. Oh shit, is it? Oh yeah, today's the
Yeah.
12th. That's on the goose there. I'm your host, Hayden Cummins, and I'm joined once again by Bleezy Blake, Crispy Kais. Blake got himself off mute somehow. But
Yeah,
he
I think
he behaved, so it's okay.
when you give me the power to record the episode, I can unmute myself. I figured that out last time. I just didn't say anything. I tried to be good.
I lose my godlike power over this meeting.
Yeah, but Kai's is mute, so maybe I just transferred the mute to him. So
He's talking to himself over there. Aaron, you all right?
he seems upset. Did we do something wrong?
Them
He's
dogs
being
be
attacked by
barking.
wild dogs right now. Actually, live right now.
I get that.
So yeah, happy Monday night, early Tuesday morning for you who are driving to work. I just want to say Hayden's 4-0 this year against Aaron and I in fantasy. So that sucked. But I'll
Hell
say this,
yeah.
Hayden. Let me say this about your team. If your team continues like this timely, like you have the most timely team where every week you have that one player will just give you 60 points, 50 points, 40 points from your tight end position. And it's awesome. And
it's
there's a way to
wild.
win. It's a way to win. And so you have that nice base and then you get that one hot player every week. And
That's
incredible.
how I did so well early in the season too. It was like one player, and it was Josh Allen a lot of the time early in the season. But
Yeah, it's
now
just
kinda
switched now.
faded
Yeah.
off. But yeah, Evan Ingram going off for like 40 something points, kind of out of nowhere. Shout
was
out
awesome.
Brady for recommending him as a tight end pickup.
Dude, I thought you were dumb too for dropping Dolchich or whatever his name is. I was like, oh, he dropped him. And then Evan Ingram goes up for, I was like, never mind. He obviously knows way more than I do.
Mostly because I was tired of Russell Wilson, which that ties back into the show because that was, that was
And
a
he
big
popped
miss.
off.
I mean, yeah, he did okay fantasy wise, but yeah,
Yeah.
the Broncos were the first team officially eliminated from playoff contention this year. So
Yeah, I actually think
that
though
did not pan out.
he actually got kicked out of, or not kicked out of the game. He got like hit out of the game on Sunday because they were actually having a pretty good battle between him and Mahomes. This is the first time they looked like a competent offense all year. So I just don't think it saved the coach from losing his job because you have to lose your job after a fiasco like this. And same with John Elway. Like, is he still the GM there?
Yeah, no, he's the president, I think. Well, maybe he's both, but he has way too much to do with it, and he got lucky on Peyton. It seems like. At this
For
point.
sure.
Uh,
And they look
oh.
so dumb from firing their last coach.
So living in Colorado, I started to see some weird Broncos stuff. So there's a place called Shields, which is like a sporting goods outdoor store. Imagine an Academy Sports with like 2 Dick's Sports stacked on top of it.
Whoa.
That's the scale. There's a Ferris wheel inside of the store in the middle.
Goodness.
Will you take
like-
me when I come visit?
Yes. Yeah. It's like 5 minutes from my house. And I didn't
Oh,
know this
yeah.
all this time. So I'm walking around in there just like, it's basically a mall. And this creepy animatronic John Elway starts talking to me as I walk by, scared the shit out of me. Completely unnecessary. And it's really weird because on the opposite side, there's another animatronic president. Do you want to try to guess which president it was?
Was there a president from Colorado?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I'm gonna
Is
go
it Teddy
Lincoln.
Roosevelt?
It was Thomas Jefferson.
Really?
There appears to be no consistent reason for that. He was just there and just moving around creepily.
Huh.
So my guess was because Teddy established the national parks. So I just thought Colorado, there's parks that I don't know. That was my one.
Yeah, no connection.
dark. Lincoln's awesome guess too. Like what the heck? Well, that's pretty
yeah.
cool though.
It's a wild place, but
Hey, how about the Dion? Is anyone there pumped about Dion coming to Colorado?
So I'm in northern Colorado.
Right, I know
closer
Boulder's
to-
not close, right?
Well, it's about 45 minutes, but I'm in Fort Collins, which is Colorado State University. So go Rams.
Yeah, there we go.
They were also bad this year, but they didn't change
Oh,
out their
yeah.
coach. So I'm not not feeling too great about the rivalry in state anymore.
Did
They
y'all
also do this.
see his video? Did we talk about that last time?
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
think we did
did.
talk about it last week.
Yeah,
But him
that was
addressing his
awesome.
players.
Yeah. I packed my bags and they're Louis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Louis.
That was
Yeah.
so cool.
Which is kind of a cold ass thing to say.
It's
His
so
players-
cold. I like how he
as soon
said
as
your
you meet 'em.
parents are disappointed in the product.
God. Well, no, okay. About the Colorado State rivalry, though, I wanted to. I'm assuming they did this for, I don't know, notoriety may not be the right word, but attention. And, they're one of the few rivalries that takes place not on rivalry week. I think Colorado and Colorado State either play the first week of the year or second. It's early, and
Wow.
that's weird to me.
That is weird.
They're,
Doesn't
they're
I don't
in
know if
different
you've heard anything about
conferences
that.
now because I think Colorado is in the
they
Pac.
did go to the Pac-12, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
and so I
did.
think that I don't even know if they play every year now. But also Wyoming is really close to northern Colorado too here in Fort Collins, so that's a big rivalry. As well.
That's okay. All right, now so I just looked it up to see when they did play. I didn't realize this, but it does the rivalry does have a very cool nickname. It's called the Rocky Mountain Showdown.
Oh, dude, I forget how much I love college football rivalry names.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
do you remember being a kid playing NCAA and then pulling out
Yeah.
going into the rivalry game, whichever one it is? Yeah. Oh my, forgot about that.
You learn
Oh,
so much about sports from playing a lot of sports video
Oh,
games.
for
It's
sure.
pretty wild.
Yeah, Red River
See-
Shootout.
Hayden, you were right. They haven't played since 2019.
That's a shame.
It is.
They may have
Uh,
played this year, but
it says the
Wyoming's
next-
the main one.
The next scheduled game is 2023, so they'll play next year in Boulder.
Okay.
There you go. Dion,
But, yeah.
probably win for Dion.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I don't know. I
might
looked at
be-
their
might be
schedule
a little
for
bit of
next
a
year.
mismatch now.
Well, I looked for their schedule for next year. Colorado has a hard schedule. I'll be honest. Dion might get lucky, get 5 wins in his first year. Just going to say that, which is an upgrade over 1 win, which I think is what they had this year. So
It is what they had this year.
yeah, so, I
one of
mean-
the worst Power 5 schools, if not the worst.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I got a fresh cut over the weekend, so
Oh hell yeah!
yeah. My hairdresser, she cut my wife's hair, and so Jess really liked her haircut, so she said you should go get your hair cut by her too. So I did. She's from India, but she actually cut hair also in Dubai for 10 years. Like lived in Dubai. Yeah, I don't know, she's really cool. I learned a lot just by her cutting my hair. It was like an hour long, so I talked. It was cool.
That's
You really
pretty
threw
sick,
me off when
actually,
you
yeah.
said you really threw me off when you said you went to the hairdresser. I mean, I know that's like what
Is that what they're
called,
called?
right?
I don't even know the
No,
right.
I think they're
barber?
barbers.
Yeah, but when they cut
Typically a
women's hair and they
barber
do more
for-
styles, is it still just a barber? Like
I don't know.
it's like a whole hair salon.
I think what we have here is a classic scenario of Tom Collins and a Shirley Temple. You know,
Yeah.
it's the same drink. It just depends. Men call it one drink and women call it another.
I see what you're saying there. Okay. That's fair.
That checks out.
It does check out. Yeah, it does. But how about a Blursed of the week, guys?
Worst of the week.
There it is.
Blursed of the week. I love
Yes.
that.
Who won last week? Blake? no, Hayden did.
No, Hayden. And I realize now I should have retroactively voted for someone else for a 3-way tie. Like, because I knew what Hayden voted already, so I could have done that. Because I knew you wouldn't want me to win, so I should have voted for you,
Stupid
Aaron, for a 3-way
idiot.
tie. I know I screwed up.
All right, Hayden, as the winner.
Oh,
You wanna
boy.
bust
Oh, he's not even
Blake-
ready.
Blake started that trend. We don't have to,
Ooh.
but Blake started the winner goes first trend last week. So
We'll do youngest goes first.
Okay, yeah, I
Oh,
got it.
okay,
No,
perfect.
don't worry, guys. Don't
He's
worry.
always the most eager, anyways.
he is. That's
I
true.
am. I'm very eager.
It's crazy. The life inside of you hasn't died yet. That's wild.
Never will, man. I hope not.
Never will, man. just the way you responded to that.
I'm an eager beaver. So my Blursed of the week is going to be about the Hawks. About the Hawks in general is for, I don't know, the Blursed for me, like Atlanta sports media. Like I really tend to enjoy 99 the game and things like that. But I've had a change of opinion over the last week, just because of how much Trey got blasted. Because my problem with the whole situation is that we don't know what the truth is, and we do
Right.
know the players know. And so for the media to come out and say all these things, and like I don't know, they're all speculating a lot of stuff. And then the national media is watching Trey Young go through a slump, which I'll also give Trey credit this too. Like he just had his first kid not too long ago. Like he's also having to adjust playing with DJM, learning how to share the spotlight. And
Right.
also, obviously, him and Coach Nate don't have a great relationship right now. So I understand why he might be slumping. And so the national media is using this as like Trey's actually not a superstar. And like, so I don't know. It's been crazy week and a half to watch this like downward spiral for Trey. And I feel like he kind of just maybe mishandled the first situation, but I don't think he's deserved the blowback. Cause like we've seen divas, we've seen like the Terrell Owens in the world and like the people who like do things to like, I'm trying to think. Antonio Brown's a perfect example recently. Like, let's say that Terrell Owens is probably not an example, but Antonio Brown, like, we see people who do like a bunch of dumb crap. Like Trey hasn't done anything dumb. I don't know. Like, I just feel like maybe he took maybe an easy way out, but I don't think he did anything disrespectful or to like. I don't know. I don't know what y'all think, but I don't feel shame from Trey.
I think the AB thing might be a mental health situation.
And you could be right.
But to your point, and bringing up Terrell Owens and stuff like that, yeah, he doesn't do anything.
Or Julio, even Julio. Like Julio skipped practice all the time, and like, like there were reasons to be upset with. He would skip the mandatory camp.
Now,
and
I agree with you, and you know I'm a Julio hater. But to that point, though, I think where this stuff comes from is that a superstar in basketball has looked like is equivalent to an NFL quarterback
when
as far as
good.
You're the de facto leader, whereas Julio was never a leader.
Right. And I get that. And then maybe the problem a lot of people are having too is they're saying Trey's not a leader. And like I feel like he is. I don't know though. It's been weird, and I just don't like going after our best player when we've never had a player to Trey's caliber in so long. Like I really do think Dominique Wilkins is the best comparison for Trey when it comes to stardom. So what are we doing? Like I just don't get it. What are we doing? I don't know. It bothers me. So that's my Blursed of the week. It's just having a star brings up this whole new like your star expectations, and then I don't know, people holding to unfair expectations sometimes or just not unrealistic. Yeah. So that's my Blursed. It's a little more cursed than Blursed, but the blessing is Trey.
Indeed.
Please don't ever leave us.
Please, yeah. Well, and to that point too, we got to make sure the media needs to be a little careful unless they want him to leave.
Yeah, you're gonna push the guy away, and then what do you have? A lottery team.
Yes.
I don't know. With DJM, we might make playoffs, but not a great team.
No, not do anything.
But we do always lose the lottery as well, so you got to take that into account.
Yeah, exactly. We're not even a good lottery team.
We have really bad luck with that.
So, Hayden, do you want to go next or me?
You go.
All right. So my Blursed of the week is going to be a bit abstract. It's a bit of a zoom out. It's not any one thing per se that happened. The blursedness of this is that we don't get UGA football for a little bit for about 3 more weeks, and for quite a long time, and that sucks. But the blursedness of it is that it's because the fact that we're really good at football.
God, we're so good.
Yeah. So when bowl season rolls around, if you're good enough to make a bowl, but you're not that good, your team plays pretty soon, right? After
Alabama.
Yeah. No,
they're before us.
Right after Christmas, basically, your team will start playing, and well, hell, actually, no, I'm sorry. That's
sooner than that, right?
That's for the good boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the bowls will actually start this next week, won't they? Either way, that's
the Cheez-It Bowl has to be soon.
The Cheez-It Bowl. Is that the worst one now? Because it used to be the Poinsettia Bowl.
All right, the
Music City.
So earliest bowl is on Friday, December 16th. It's the Bahamas Bowl.
Oh,
and then the
that's
Cure
actually
Bowl.
Sick. I hope it is.
They play in the Bahamas. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
that's not.
that's
not that bad.
The bowl season is such a wild card for teams because it's supposed to be fun. It's for the teams not in the playoffs. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a celebration.
They get a little gift bag and stuff.
Yeah, they get gift bags. They go to on places they don't go often. You know, they get to stay in nice hotels, play teams they don't play often, and they get a big trophy like they actually won something. It's cool. But what I think sucks so bad is that some teams get to go to the Bahamas and other teams get to go to Birmingham.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's a Birmingham Bowl, there's a Jacksonville Bowl, and then there's also bowls in the Bahamas. There's bowls in San Diego.
There's the Fenway Bowl played in Fenway Park.
Indeed. I think there's also a bowl
that's
I think there's a bowl that's played in Yankee Stadium too.
Yes, you're right. There's Mobile, Alabama. I'll keep going through.
Now Mobile wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be too bad.
I hear there's a nice La Quinta in there.
Yes.
Shreveport, Louisiana. I wouldn't really want to
I
go.
mean, well, that's on the beach too, though. I believe
Is Shreveport? I thought it was maybe on the river. Is it beach? It might be. I don't know enough about
Louisiana's
Louisiana.
tough. You know, they get flooded a lot. A whole state comes a beach sometimes.
It
Hear
do be
the
beaching.
the Flint, Michigan Bowl is pretty fun. Just don't drink the water.
No. Oh wow, Hayden.
All right, my Blursed of the week is. I'll just take the easy route since I'm not prepared. Wild Bill William Contreras has been traded to the Brewers, so it's a little bit bittersweet. He came on really hot this year. He is a all-star DH in really his first season up in the bigs full time. But yeah, he got shipped out of town, and we have Sean Murphy. Old ass-tastic Sean Murphy. If you don't know the name, you've probably seen the GIF online of him getting hit by a pitch on his butt. He basically like kind of twerks into it. Look it up if you haven't seen it. It's worth.
It's like the crimson chin, but on the butt. Like
the crimson butt.
The crimson butt.
Yeah, basically, if you don't know the man's face, you know his ass.
You do.
You do. And you should.
And you should.
Going around is the Atlanta Braves between him and Austin Riley. So,
a lot of dogs.
A lot of meat
Strider,
back there.
Put Strider up on there too, dude.
Oh God, his thighs? You could eat those for days. It's crazy. I mean, if you were a cannibal.
Yeah, man.
I didn't mean anything sexual by that.
Yeah, right. We're talking our list of cannibalism.
Just violent cannibalism. That's all.
So what's the Blursed of the week, guys?
Blake, you want to vote first?
Oh yeah, I can vote first. I will go. God, I think they're both good, and I'm not trying to pick sides, but I actually will go with the Wild Bill because I'm gonna miss Wild. No, actually, I'm not.
Fair.
You know what? I'm not even gonna do it because here's the thing. I think Sean, that's the name, right? Sean Murphy is such an upgrade that we're not gonna miss Wild Bill. Give me the dogs.
I mean, he's arguably one of the. I mean, he's a top 3 catcher in baseball.
He's top 3, and he's not number 3. Let's say that.
Yeah.
He might not be 1 though.
What do you think about that, Hayden? Before you vote about that comment we just
we'll
made.
get into the Braves.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
I've sold myself on the trade. I want y'all to know that
Blake,
right now.
as listeners know, Blake is great at brainwashing himself. To get into things.
Hey, Brock Bowers, greatest tight end in UGA history.
Well, I mean, that you fell backwards into that. Okay, into that prediction. I'm gonna vote Wild Bill as well. So I guess Hayden doesn't really even need to vote.
My voice will be heard. I miss watching the dogs, man.
That's true.
I'm glad that we have such a long wait because that means we've been successful.
And we get to play a meaningful game.
I fell into a trend of going to the bar every week.
Yeah, but how was watching Stetson at the Heisman? It's cool.
He seemed bored a little to me.
Yeah, he
seemed like the old guy in the room. If you look at all the pictures, I thought it was cool he wore his Letterman though. Pretty throwback. That's cool.
I read something that he hosted Caleb Williams on his visit to UGA. Like he was the player host.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, should have done a better job recruiting him.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe that's why he wears 13.
National champion. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Speaking of, I just want to point out, Brock Purdy is the Stetson Bennett of the NFL, right? I mean, they look similar. They wear the same number. The man coming in out of nowhere and balling out.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant indeed.
It is wild how much luck goes into getting your chance sometimes for some of these players.
Yes.
Because like you have the middle round guys that like may or may not get one opportunity. So like I'll go back to like Aaron Murray. I think he got drafted in like the 5th round or something like that. He was out of the NFL within 2 years.
Oh yeah.
But then there's guys that like weren't even drafted that because there's just multiple injuries in a row, they get a shot. And then if they have a chance to perform, and if they do, then they can stick around. And that's what's going on with Purdy right now. He looks pretty good.
But I also say
there
he looks pretty good. I also say something though. I think there's like, to speak on Aaron Murray though, I feel like if he was better, he would still be in the NFL though, like as a backup. You know what I mean? Like, because as a backup, it's really like working hard, showing you're there every day. Like, I think it's more than just being skilled. I mean, because like that's why every year you see backups that you probably never heard of, like players you haven't heard of really. You know what I mean? Like So I don't know. I don't get why people like Aaron Murray can't stay in the NFL longer. Because if I feel like Aaron Murray was talented enough to, so you got to think it has to be some work or something. I don't know. But speaking of Brock Purdy, like his passing stats for the Cyclones is really good. Like he was a good quarterback for them.
Oh yeah, he's their I think career leader in passing yards
Yeah. No, he's incredible.
all time.
In 4 years, he threw for 12,000 yards, 81 touchdowns, and only 33 interceptions.
12 G's ain't no joke.
No, it's not.
We're
He
in
ran
the
for
era- We're in the Purdy and Mike White era.
dude, but also it shows you
It's-
too
it's
how
fun to
God, I
watch.
love White.
No, you're right.
White Mike.
It also shows you too how important it though is to have that team built around, because like the fact that they can plug and play their quarterback and win, like kill the Bucks, shows you that just how good the team is itself too. Like from every position,
Mhm.
they have weapons everywhere, both sides of the
do.
ball.
Probably better coached too.
Oh God, yeah.
God, we let him.
If
slip right
Shanahan
through
is
our
able
fingers.
to piece together a playoff run with fucking Brock Purdy, God damn.
That'd be crazy, dude.
And a
but
hurt Devo.
look how good his run game is with Christian McCaffrey. It is
Oh, God,
terrifying.
it is.
God. But speaking of, we should go into the Wild Bill things and start Blursed of the week and get into the Braves.
Braves.
Hell yeah.
All right, so let's read off this full trade here. If you guys haven't seen it already, it was a wild afternoon. This trade came on Twitter like probably around 2, and it was not the full trade. We just got bits and pieces at a time. So first we got Sean Murphy is
Which
going to the
hurt
Braves.
our expectations, I feel like, because it got us really too high of hopes
Yeah.
beyond just Sean Murphy. At least for me.
Yes,
I
Like,
agree with
y'all,
that.
y'all start talking about what is it, Adams?
Adamas.
Yeah, sorry. Adamas.
Oh,
And
we'll get into
well,
it.
I'm just saying, like, you talking about that got my hopes so high. So when the trade came out, it kind of went down a little bit. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that's all we
It's
got.
because we gave up so many prospects. Anyway,
Yeah.
so it just came bits and pieces at a time. So Sean Murphy coming to us, and then it was Manny Pena getting sent, who was our backup catcher that got hurt early on in the season, which led to Wild Bill coming up. He got sent to Oakland, and then it came out that William Contreras was going to Milwaukee. And so that was the big chip right there. While Sean Murphy is probably the most valuable piece, and that's what we
He
ended
is
up
the
with,
most
which
valuable
is good.
piece.
William Contreras is the youngest, and he just came off an All-Star season. I mean, there's just a lot of upside there as well, and a capable player. And so we keep getting these pieces, just more prospects that are going around between the Braves and Oakland, basically. So Kyle Mueller, he got shipped out. He was our number 1 prospect. You probably saw him pitch a little bit last year. Actually, the last couple
I
of
liked
years he's
him,
had some
actually.
opportunities. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He has some injury stuff going on, but then Freddie Tarnock, he came up a couple times. He's a bullpen pitcher that was ranked pretty highly, and then
My favorite name. Say it.
Royber.
Royber.
Old
Yes.
Royber. I hadn't heard of him, but I think maybe Yeager. I don't know if he came from us or not. But anyways, it was just a lot of pieces all at once. And so it took probably an hour and a half for them to actually come with the full trade. But yeah, so we only ended up with Sean Murphy, and weirdly, Milwaukee only gave up 1 prospect.
And they got William Contreras. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that.
Ruiz, which is, I don't know, man. I feel like Milwaukee
They
destroyed
made out like
this trade.
bandits. Yeah.
They did.
Which, that's not what you expect from you expect with AA. It's going to be a value add, so like you're not going to lose a trade outright, but you expect to be on the highest upside of the trade just from what we've seen in the past.
The way the way I look at the trade is like it's the same way at least I would look in fantasy is that you want when you're trading for someone, you want to get the best player. Like that's typically the mindset going to a trade is you want to come away with the best player, which I think we did that. But if you're Milwaukee,
definitely.
you did that second best thing, which is you come away with the most upside overall. Like if you're just looking over replacement level for your own team, they did that because they had a horrible catcher last year. So like they get the most upside, I would say, but we have the best player.
Shout out Sam real quick. It feels like one of those trades where you give nothing for something. It's something substantial.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, is a prospect that he hit good in the minor leagues. He's come up a few times. He only has like a 140 batting average in the majors. And yeah, they got an all-star catcher out of it. He may not be the best defensively, but I mean, he can start.
They can hit though. Yeah.
He can hit. He can DH.
And so I think like part of the reason I've sold myself on this trade is a couple of reasons. One is I do love Murphy's defense. Something we haven't really had behind the really since like who would you say? Ross, was he our last like good defensive catcher? David Ross? I
I mean,
can't remember.
we have fair defensive catchers. I don't know the last one to win a Gold Glove or anything like that.
Right.
Maybe
Like we just
Yeah.
haven't had
Lopez.
that
Did
chance.
Brian McCann ever win a Gold Glove?
I don't know. I can't remember him as being someone who could like just throw people out all the time. Like I don't remember it.
Yeah.
But I just think one with the defense upside he brings, and like with and then his offensive capability is still like top 3, top 5 at the position. It does suck because I will say Bill has that swing that reminds you of like Corey Seager. Like he swings like he's a position player, not a catcher. So it's gonna suck to lose that. But I really am sold myself on the defensive upside, and I also think, and this is where I could be let down later, but I think this is a move before another move, which sounds crazy.
That's what it seems like.
But it seems like an all-in move, which means we should go more all-in. Like that's just how I'm feeling about it.
I don't feel like it's all in from a perspective like you're about to like you have a chance of losing. I think it's safe in that like we have Travis d'Arnaud still, and if there's injury or something like that, we're not fucked.
Oh yeah, no,
have a
we were
chance.
actually we're
still
strapped at
competing.
that position. So like we didn't lose much position value at all. We just lost some. I mean, really at all. We upgraded the one position we traded for.
Real quick, I don't even know if the Braves have ever had a catcher win a Gold Glove since they. Okay, I see one.
Not even Javi Lopez.
Joe Torre with the Milwaukee Braves in
Joe
1965.
Torre was the last one.
So it also, if you look back through here, like year to year, Yadier Molina won from 2008 to 2015, which is wild how good he was. But yeah, it's nice to have an upgrade. It is an upgrade, no doubt. Defensively and offensively, he's more consistent, gets on base, which is good. Which that makes me think he'll slot in probably top of the lineup, so probably like 2-hole. He's a pretty athletic catcher. He kind of fits the mold of like a JT Realmuto, which is kind of the comp. That's the comp that we're seeing out there. I think as soon as I saw Milwaukee and I saw that we were giving probably our best trade chip away, I assumed that we would be getting more.
Adamas. But that's the thing, is Vaughn Grissom's still a trade chip too.
Vaughn is. I don't know. I don't
think he's as high as. No, I agree
as
with
Wild
that.
Bill.
I agree with that.
So when I saw that and I saw more pieces that were coming from both Oakland and us, like just other minor
you assume
league
they were
prospects,
having to give up more players.
There's going to have to be something else, not just one player that Milwaukee gave up somehow and then they turned it around into an all-star
What's
DH.
Oakland doing there? Like they must have got their guy. Like that's the thing from. But it doesn't make sense.
They must have been extremely high on whatever recruit or prospect Brewers gave up.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Well, didn't they also get Kyle Mueller?
Yeah, right. But the only reason the Brewers are in that trade is it has to be for the Athletics to get whatever prospect that was, or does it make sense for the Brewers to be in the trade?
Well, the A's didn't really want a starting caliber catcher back because we traded them Langoliers last offseason to get Miles, and he's a stud. So people were complimenting AA on that, like playing the long game, knowing they're not going to need their starting Gold Glove All-Star catcher in the year because the prospect's going to be ready, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know. I was a little disappointed. It's a net gain.
Here's something else that helped me feel better about it too. I started looking into other teams that need catchers, like catcher needing teams, like the San Francisco Giants, the Padres are still there. So like the fact that we got him means they can't get him. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when you're not doing
a player that plays for us can't play for someone else. I do agree.
Well, yeah, but like, do you want to see one of them up? Like we helped the Brewers upgrade a catcher, which is a much smaller deal to us compared to like the Giants or the Padres upgrading a catcher, if that makes sense. Like if we're trying to compete for a World Series,
might be a division winner though.
I don't give a shit about those teams. I give a shit about the Mets. So that's like one of.
But they already got a catcher, right?
I don't think so. McCann. That's who they complain about all the time. But anyways,
actually, it is McCann. They pay him a ton of money too.
Yeah, he's not that good. So I mean, it's good that they don't have it, but yeah, I don't know. We do have solid depth at the position now.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, I was hoping that if we were gonna let go Wild Bill, it would be in connection with getting a high caliber shortstop in-house that we could sign to a longer deal, because that's what we do. We trade for pieces that we can sign before they hit free agency, get them at a value, just like we've done with Matt Olson. We've done it with other people that we've kept in-house.
Would you say this means we're definitely still in the running, though, to sign a shortstop, regardless of trade?
Man, it makes me feel like we're more likely to sign a free agent shortstop now.
But isn't
what?
Oh, like, but including Carlos Correa, or you're just saying like not one of the big guys?
It's hard to say, man, because at any moment we can take on a contract of any size,
Right.
like that. We could pay Carlos Correa $40 million a year for 8 years or something like that.
We wouldn't, but we could.
We won't. I just don't see it happening.
Right.
We may overpay for Dansby now, but I've also heard that there's been like almost no contact between the two sides, and it hasn't been close. So I mean that can change in a day too. Hard to say. But then there's also rumors of like Elvis Andrews and other veteran shortstops that just come in and play good defense, and that's who we would go into the season with. But I don't know. We have holes, and one of the holes we filled was the back end of the bullpen with Matzik being injured. What are you guys giggling about?
You said we have holes,
and we're filling them.
Well, we have a couple of gaping holes, and we got to fill those holes. But
We do.
But it's not. But if you look at the rest of our roster, it's not as bad as like
Dude,
the fact we're talking about. I know you're saying shortstop, but like my point is, you can look at some of these, like Houston, for example. Who's their shortstop?
Pena?
Who's Philadelphia's shortstop?
Jeremy. Wait, yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy Pena. He just won World Series MVP as a rookie.
Who's Philadelphia's shortstop?
So probably not gonna give
Trey Turner.
Yeah.
Now, okay,
Now,
but before that, but my point is though, is like you don't have to have the top shortstop to be competitive when you're competitive at every single other position. I'm not saying it wouldn't help
crucial
us.
Position though.
I agree with that, but like if we have players that can play and if we swing and miss here, I don't think it ruins our season. Like I still think
I don't think we're saying it ruins the season either.
Right.
But...
It just helps us, which I agree with.
Oh, yeah.
We are a competitive team as is. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. That's all I'm trying to say.
Anthopoulos is built. But you see these other teams making moves and improving their team, and it feels like we're sitting on our hands a bit. The thing is, we're competing with the Mets, who they have a billionaire owner.
Yeah.
And he is spending that way.
Right.
The Mets are going to be paying a luxury tax, and that luxury tax amount is more than like the A's entire roster will be paid next year. That's insane.
Just the tax.
Yeah,
yes,
that's crazy.
It is crazy. The tax is like over $80 million, so it's hard to. And the Phillies are spending like that too, and they have been, and that's been their philosophy, which it almost worked for them this past year, but luckily it didn't. But yeah, I mean, it feels at some point we have to spend a little bit of money. I don't know when it's going to come. Hopefully it comes soon. But I was assuming if we're not able to sign one of the free agents, then we would be able to use Contreras, Vaughn Grissom, and find somebody to fill that hole. Or you could use those pieces to fill in left field. Right. At the very least, I was hoping if we're dealing Contreras, I was like, okay, maybe we didn't get Adames, but maybe we unloaded the Marcelo Ozuna contract and get him under
that would have been
because
nice.
He's been a nightmare. You don't want him around, but I think that's kind of proving impossible to get rid of him.
But shout out Sam again. I kind of do agree with him in the sense that you have a chance. I'm not saying it's like a super high chance, but you do have a chance of figuring out your left field between Ozuna and Rosario. Like they both have it in them. They're both capable. And when you're platooning, you're not asking for either one of them to be all-stars. Like there's a chance it could work, but I don't feel great about it.
With the acquisition of Murphy, I don't see Ozuna. I mean, maybe he will.
He would field maybe if we had to, I guess.
I don't want him in the outfield because he's a liability. And he's not as good of a hitter as Murphy. So I think D'Arnaud. So I think those are going to be our DHs.
Yeah, our catchers again. Yeah.
And then probably Eddie is going to be in left. And so he's very capable as well. It just depends on what we get. So he kind of had bad luck with that eye or like retina surgery or whatever he had to get. And so, who knows if he was back to 100% or like it probably took a lot of adjustment to get back into the swing of things, and he didn't have a good year.
Right.
But I mean, that's not to say he couldn't.
Yeah.
But I like upgrades. and
Did you like
that's-
AA trading for that bullpen arm? Like I like that too.
Yeah,
He's
traded. Who did we trade? We traded Justin Henry Malloy or something like that.
Yeah, the
he
center
was-
fielder, right?
He was like one of our top prospects, and he was kind of like a dark
Our
horse to be
outfielder.
our starting left fielder this
Yeah,
year.
that's right.
But he also hadn't played outside of AA, so it's kind of a long shot. I don't see that happening 3 times in 2 years, really. But you never know. But yeah, we dealt him for Joe Jimenez, who's a really good bullpen arm.
Yeah.
Has really good metrics. And I think that move was kind of made in tandem with Matzik having to get Tommy John. Luke Jackson probably not going to be back this year. Maybe he will.
I thought he was.
He might come back at some point during the season, but I think it just takes probably about a year and a half after Tommy John to get back into the swing of things.
Right.
But so it kind of fills that hole, and I think AA knows how important it is to
Bullpen.
Yeah, bullpen. That's what led us to a championship. Really did.
Absolutely.
We rode on the back of those guys, and we didn't have to fill a hole because those guys just carried us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's how I feel about the trade. Hopefully, we figure something out at shortstop. Dansby just got married this past weekend, so maybe we wait for him to get back.
Maybe
from his
that's
honeymoon or
why there's
something.
been no contact.
We don't want to bother him. right before his
Yeah.
wedding. I don't know. I think I'd want a guaranteed.
Yeah, maybe that
years,
wedding
true.
present of a nice
$240
big
million
contract.
That's true.
But I will say this, and I stand by this. I don't want to overpay the guy. So
At this point, if we don't have
we
pieces
we
to
already have
trade-
Azuna, man, that overpaid, and we see how hard it is to get rid of him. Like,
Yeah, but he's not Ozuna.
Man.
I mean,
I mean, Dansby's bat has never this was his best year ever.
oh yeah, I
And
agree.
he still had some massive inconsistent moments. So
That's the player he is. So I mean, you don't want to overpay, but you don't want to have a hole. Like you don't want to have. God damn it, Aaron.
I'm sorry.
Vaughn Grissom could fill that hole.
I mean, we have been hearing good reports. Grissom is like going and having one-on-one coaching sessions like weeks at a time with Ron Washington, who is a legend in in like infield defensive players
Yes.
and like the development that he produces. So I don't know, maybe we'll see something crazy, but it just feels like a risk in my opinion.
Yeah,
For
No,
sure.
I agree. I
sure.
totally agree. It is,
But
and like you said, just the longer we go without any certainty there, just it scares me.
yes. Hopefully it gets resolved before Christmas, and then we'll be able to relax.
Yeah,
the
I'm
rest of
not-
the off season.
I won't be scared until Carlos Correa goes, and it's not to one of the teams we thought he was gonna go to, and then we're like, oh because then there's like 4
Right.
teams bidding for Dansby.
Well, that's the thing too. We're so competitive now, and like coming off. I mean, this past offseason was disappointing, but we were in back-to-back league championship series. I mean, we lost so the Dodgers are one of our main rivals.
Yeah,
and one of the
absolutely.
main teams we're competing against, and so are the Padres now, and the Phillies and the Mets. Those are the main teams.
Yeah, so
we're
like
competing against.
it's strategic for us to land one of these shortstops, especially if another one goes to one of the other teams. Like you have
the
to.
Padres signed Xander Bogaerts
Right,
to
right,
a
exactly.
massive deal. The Padres are spending like crazy,
Which is
and
crazy because they're not that big of a
offering
market.
everyone. They're offering. I guess maybe they are. They got money coming in from somewhere, but so I mean the Dodgers are going to have a big name shortstop, and it might be Dansby. There's reports that they don't want Correa there because they're worried about fan reception after the whole Astros cheating scandal.
Right.
So I think people would be quick to forgive if he starts.
Braves fans would be quick to
launching some
forgive.
bangers.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. at
Yeah,
this
bring him
point.
on.
If he helps our team, I don't care. Just don't cheat on our team.
Listen, McCann was already part of it. We're part of it somehow. Plus, we beat them, so it kind of like
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother
avoids
me.
it, yeah.
But he's gonna get overpaid somewhere. It's not gonna be us. Any other Braves items you guys want to touch?
I'm good on that.
I am too.
Where-
What a great day though for all this to happen, so we could talk about it on the pod.
Oh, it's really
Mhm.
exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Just the hope, this little glimmer of baseball season. Love it.
When is winter meeting? Like winter meetings are over, right?
Yeah, it's a week long. They were in San Diego.
Okay.
San Diego, I think.
San Diego.
And there's no break between now and when season starts and when people can be signed, right?
Yeah, I mean it's just open market.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
It
yeah.
can happen
It's just a
anytime.
different off-season feel than like the NFL or NBA. So, because like NBA, you get the rush all at the beginning, all the big players sign right at that first, and baseball is just so much different. But it's been kind of like that a little bit this year in the sense that a lot of big names have gone early. So, y'all want to get the Falcons next?
Let's buzz it.
Falcons.
Ayo. So we were calling for it all year. Desmond Ritter season. It's officially begun.
yes.
And we're
Here,
still in the
folks.
playoff hunt. So look at that.
You heard it
Yeah,
here first.
yeah.
Desmond Ritter should start.
Yeah.
I'm calling it now, guys. We're gonna make the playoffs at 8 and 9.
All right, so look, here's the thing, Blake. If that happens, I don't know. It's kind of it's gonna be a weird. It doesn't help Arthur Smith, I guess is what I'm saying. If that happens, and
Oh yeah, then it's like, why didn't we
it's
play
like,
him earlier?
what the fuck were you doing?
Right.
You know, but then there will be the apologists like Blake that'll say, well, clearly, I mean, look at him. He won the last 3 games of the season to get us to the playoffs. I mean,
what? What do you? I keep saying, and I'll continue to say this. I'm not going to cast my final judgment on Art until the end of next year.
okay.
And maybe earlier if it goes real south real fast next year, then I'll say by that point, like, no, this is over. Like, get this guy out of
Right.
here.
No, I get
But
that.
I still think the roster as a whole is not fair for me to judge Art as a whole yet. But I'll say, like, the next 4 games, we have 3 winnable ones. Like, but I'll also say this: we just went through our most winnable part of the season, and we lost
did.
a lot of them. So, which leads to why Marcus Mariota got benched in the first place. But you have the Saints, Ravens, Cardinals, Bucks. 3 of those teams suck. Ravens are pretty good, but 3 of those teams are bad.
Ravens have been without Lamar, and also Tyler Huntley is hurt now.
Yeah, but they're still winning games though.
I mean,
I'm just saying they're beatable.
It could be. You're right. It's not. They're not unbeatable. And I'll say this too: like Desmond Ritter, throughout college, not in the NFL yet, but like he won a lot of big games. Like he was known for that. He was known for being a big game guy. So I think he could go in the Saints and upset, or I don't know if it's an upset, but he could beat them in Louisiana on Sunday. I just think this is a change that we're all thankful to happen. And I'm excited to see the young guy throw the ball. And I'm excited to actually watch the Falcons because I have not been excited to watch them since about since we lost to the Bengals. Basically, I've not really been excited to watch them. So
what week was that? Week
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Since week 7, I haven't really been too excited.
Same, except I haven't been excited to watch them since week 7 of 2019.
Yeah, or
probably.
18, right?
Yeah,
right.
or 18. Yeah,
It's been a while. It's been a while. Actually, it's been 5 years, I think, since a winning season. So maybe it's 2017. But still, like, I now agree with that. But I had some hope. I don't know, Mariota had some flashes at the beginning of the season.
Let me bring in some pessimism here because I'm still a little upset about how this has played out this season.
yeah, you should.
It's a timing issue because we are still in the division. It's going to be very hard to win the division at this point because we don't own the tiebreakers. I think within the division we're like 1-3 or something.
We're 1-3, so Carolina can't win out, but we have the easiest schedule of the remaining remaining teams. We do have the easiest schedule.
I think it's pretty unlikely that we'll make the playoffs.
For sure.
Even if we win out, then it would be like, I don't know. I think the Bucks are probably going to end up winning it, but it's dumb from our perspective, even in his self-interest, to wait this long to basically have the division be over. If Ritter comes in and is so successful that we win a division when it's very unlikely for us to do so, because it'll be because of the difference in play between.
But are you being
Ritter
mad
and
about that
Mariota.
though? I just have a question. Like, are you being mad if Ritter does come out and do that?
Hey, shush your mouth.
You shush it now.
So if you start him earlier in the year and he's bad, then it doesn't matter. If you start him now and he carries you to division when you shouldn't have won it with the amount of games left, that makes you look dumb for not starting him earlier. I think it's like a bad. I mean, I'm happy that he's doing it now.
Yeah.
But
And I
it's
also
just a great
get-
opportunity to make him look like a fucking idiot.
Yes,
But I hope it happens though. I would love for Ritter to prove him wrong and do that.
I rarely defend Arthur Smith, but
Yeah.
in his slight defense here, I get waiting till the bye week. It's not his fault we had a late bye week.
Yeah. And how unfortunate too. as like a young team to have that late of a bye week with so many young players. I just feel like week 14 is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand
Like a
bye
whole
weeks.
college
Way
football
too late.
season.
It's
Yeah.
way too late in the season.
It's
to have
so
a bye.
late.
Yes. So, but otherwise, I completely agree with everything Hayden just said. I mean, yeah, it'll be cool, but I mean, and I'm sure the fan base will continue to be split. Talking about things that 929 does recently, Blake, that you don't like, man, I have hated how much they've really just, I mean, they're all up on Arthur Smith as far as in a good way. Like the amount of
Oh, they
people,
love Arthur Smith.
yeah, the amount of personalities that I hear on that radio
Yeah.
station being like, "Oh, we've clearly we found our guy. We got him. He's going to be here for a long time."
No, they
I mean,
love him, but that's not just
the
them.
job that he's done.
These are the
National
same
media
guys
loves him
that
too, though.
loved. These are the same guys that loved Dan Quinn when it was Kyle Shanahan and the offense carrying the team.
Yes. Yeah. No. No.
The
You're
defense
you're
is
100%
carrying
right.
the team right now. Like through the past 5
I will say
weeks.
though,
the
Mike
main
Bell.
guy-
Mike Bell was more harsh on.
He
Dan
was.
Quinn. He did
Mike
not.
Bell and that the Dukes and Bell actually did a great job of calling out Dan Quinn. Everybody else not so much.
Everyone else, yeah.
But John Fricky, one of the morning hosts.
Oh god, but he loves everybody.
Dude,
though.
he sucks off
Yeah.
Arthur Smith so much, and it is.
But he's also the guy calling for Trey Young to get traded.
Well, not only that, he called to me worse because of where they were in their careers. Just last year, no, not last year, just year before last, the year we won the title or the World Series. John Fricky was calling for us to trade Austin Riley.
That's right. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I mean, he
I
was
remember
big
that.
on it.
That's a
Every
bad
week
take.
he was talking about
Yes.
it.
Yes.
It was crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that same guy really likes Arthur Smith. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
But I'll say this too: the national media also likes Art Smith, though. Like not like the ESPNs, but like I'm talking about like the actual like analytic, like or like Baldy and stuff. Like Baldy likes Art Smith.
I agree, but I think that to Hayden's point, well with Baldy, that's one thing. He might be talking analytically as far as his X's and O's.
Yeah, as a coach,
he likes
I see
him.
what you're saying.
But what Hayden said in the past, it turns out we might just know a little more about Atlanta sports than the national media does.
True, for sure.
And I think that's I think it's just by virtue them liking Art Smith is just by virtue of them not paying attention to Atlanta
the
sports,
team, right?
and then looking and saying, "Oh wow, Atlanta went 7-10 last year. That's kind of crazy."
Yeah.
And then this year they're looking, "Oh wow, Atlanta might actually win the division. That's kind of crazy." And then that's how they grade Art Smith.
No, I agree. I get what you're saying. To also build off of like just this hitting this bye week, looking because Art Smith said every position is open on the table. Like we're going to talk about everywhere need trading. Something I'm looking at because it's being talked about a lot right now because we hear the Bijan Robinson. Because everyone, I think a couple mocks have now mocked us taking him. But I don't want to talk about him necessarily right now. What I want to talk about first is where we think the holes are, what we see as the biggest need from this team beyond the quarterback. What's the biggest need? I think it's the left guard position next to Jake Matthews, because ever since Wilkinson, the guy we brought in, got hurt, it's been a gaping hole. There you go, Aaron. Yeah. And then also the defensive line, both from the pass rush and the interior besides Grady. Grady's still like a one-man show. I'll say AK has been really good, and Malone has had some flashes, but it's not consistent enough yet. No. So I just think our biggest needs either O-line or D-line. I can make a case for either one, but like that's my biggest.
We've said it before too. Building out from the lines is so important. That's part of the reason the Falcons have gotten such a bad rap about this rebuild with Kyle Pitts and Drake London now, and so I think they're just opening themselves to a lot more flack if they want to draft a running back in the first round this offseason.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Peyton. It's because Blake, I know you probably saw me touch on it a bit earlier, but man, this past week with the Lions winning because they threw it to Penei Sewell on third
how cool
down.
was that? Dude,
it was super cool.
Athletic.
And it just shows you, it just solidifies what we knew back then, that Penei Sewell was the correct pick and Kyle Pitts was not. Because now we already knew Penei Sewell, clearly they brought Kyle in here to block and not much else. That's pretty clear based off his performances. Penei's a better blocker, right?
But Caleb McGarry's been good, though, this year.
Hold on. Okay, wait, he hasn't been Penei Sewell good, though. All right, so Penei's better blocker than Kyle Pitts. That's not a hot take. What is a hot take, perhaps, though? Better receiver. Better receiver than Kyle Pitts. Look at that. Did you see the form, the athleticism?
Did you see him jump for the first down?
Yes. Put that much weight onto Kyle Pitts and see if he can do that.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I mean,
I'm
I
not
agree with
sure.
I agree with that, and I still think it was a bad pick at the time. But looking forward now, they're hoping for the progression in Caleb McGarry, and Caleb McGarry is graded out as a top eight right tackle this year, and then left tackle Jake Matthews. So where do you put him?
Speaking of Penei Sewell again.
Yeah.
All right. Have you guys seen that man's calves? My God, his calf muscle.
He's a little
it's
obsessed here.
It's like a bag of apples back there. I
He
mean,
has a
that
Penei
thing-
Sewell. He actually has a Penei Sewell poster in
Yeah.
his room right now.
I want. Does that company Fathead still exist? Hey, do you
Yeah,
know what
right.
I
Got a
want?
fat head of Penei
Hey,
Sewell.
I need a Penei Sewell
Probably
Fathead
does.
right there, right behind me here.
Actually, that's like way too of a mid 2000s.
I want you to like
Yeah.
draw your own Falcons uniform on, so like kind of done. Like,
yes, that would be sick. No, I'm just okay. That's my Kyle Pitts.
No, it's fair.
Panay. You said his name's Panay, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Like
prefer
my favorite
angel hair.
pasta.
Uh,
There it is. Great minds.
yeah, I don't know. I would prefer them to go defensive route probably.
Mhm.
You know, build out some of that depth a little bit more.
Agreed.
Maybe the defensive line. I don't know that. Where are we projected to be right now? Like around 10?
anywhere between like 10, but you could be as high as like 17 or something like that, depending on how the last couple of weeks come out. But 10 right now, I think.
So outside of Jalen Carter range, probably.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Unfortunately.
And that's a byproduct. Not only, I think it's more of a byproduct of like how bad our division's been too, though. Like the Saints should have been playoff teams, and they're horrible. And like, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I hate that we're in this weird spot in between, but I like seeing us win more. I'd rather be winning like we are right now than being like who's a team that's like 2-11 right now.
Texans?
Yeah, there we go. They tried drafting their quarterback last year and it didn't work. Like I'd rather be in our shoes than their shoes right now
Who'd they
Well,
try to
yeah.
draft?
as a fan base.
Yeah, who did they?
Davis
draft?
Mills.
I thought he was here before that. Plus, he's been
The
okay.
year before. Well, yeah, but they benched him and they brought him back into starting now. Like it's been a fiasco.
What's
this is second year.
Who's this Bajan Robinson?
Bijan Robinson, he is the Texas Longhorns running back. I think he was the number 1 running back coming out of high school when they recruited him. And I'll be honest with you, he could be the next Derrick Henry or the next Barry Sanders, but he also could just be the next Saquon Barkley and get hurt. Like it's just such a toss up. What I'll say about him, there's a lot between now and draft season for us to see what we're going to do. We have $80 million in cap space. So if we say we go on the free agency and we sign another offensive lineman and like 2 defensive linemen, and now you're set there and you're just going best player available, I'm more okay with a Bijan Robinson at 10 then. But if we don't do those kind of things, then I don't want to see it.
So Blake's bringing this up because it's been said a lot, especially in national media, that he's a good fit for the Falcons, which we do have a solid run game, but I think that lends itself to be that we don't need a first round running back to fill that hole. It feels like a very disposable position for the most part. A lot of these guys, they don't make it through their first contract, and if they do, that's even more of a problem. So I would rather draft a first round running back than sign a guy like Josh Jacobs that's in the last year of his deal. And
you're saying you'd rather draft?
Yes, because
yeah, me too.
You're going to have to pay up for a free agent running back that he may only have 2 years left. Who knows? Maybe less. That's just how the position works, and they take a beating. They really do.
They do.
And I'll say, sorry.
Nope. Go ahead.
I was going to say this. Looking at since 2014, here's all the first round running backs: Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon, both great to start their careers.
But did exactly what we were talking about.
No, exactly. But that's the thing. If we draft a Bijan Robinson, I don't want to re-sign him after the 6 years or whatever it is, the 5 years.
Because the Rams got Gurley when they should have,
and they let him go
at the end of their window when they needed to try to win a title. It didn't work, but
exactly. They had him. They drafted him around the
Bowl.
same time we are, like in our window, like those around the same time. Ezekiel Elliott 2016, and 2017 you had Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey. Leonard Fournette did not work at the first stop, but he's been pretty good second. 2018, Saquon Barkley, Rashad Penny, and Sony Michel. 2 of those are busts. But it shows you the further back you get in the draft, it's harder to guess on those. 2019 was Josh Jacobs. 2020 was CEH, which is not good. And then 2021 was Najee Harris and Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
Which busting question mark.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd probably say 2 question marks. But
2 question marks. So
it feels like a coin flip. It's a coin flip.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then this year, do we have any first rounds? We didn't. Brees Hall and Kenneth Walker both went second round, which shows you the NFL's kind of value them.
Yeah.
Right.
So hopefully they're kind of getting it.
And to speak to Zeke, who was kind of like the big name, like running back that went so early.
Good point. That's where I was going to go. Yeah.
He
was good for his first contract.
Who's the best running back on their team now?
Not him.
Yeah, but that's
It's
also
Tony
his
Pollard.
second contract.
Yeah, it's Tony Pollard.
But that's contract 2.
Also, I do love that Zeke will run for like a 2-yard gain, and he'll get up and do that little eating celebration that he does. And then Tony Pollard will get the ball the next play and rattle off 34 yards and just trot back to the huddle. Like
He was drafted in the 4th round
of what year? 2019. Yeah, but my point is Ezekiel Elliott was good from day 1 for the Cowboys and was good through his whole first contract.
Hold up. Wait a minute. All right, I'm not so sold on that myself.
Phil Michael put some liquor in it.
Yeah,
I think I won a
Zeke.
fantasy football championship with Zeke.
You did, but it wasn't because of Zeke. You did it because they've had assembled one of the best offensive lines in the past decade.
And Falcons
For
have
him
that
to
same
run
thing
behind.
right now.
No, they do not. Blake,
We're top
stop.
5 rushing team without a great running back
This year.
Dude,
correct.
CP is
That
not very
offensive
good.
line does not exist still in Dallas. Okay.
Wow.
That offensive line that they had when Zeke stepped right in was I'm serious. Probably the best offensive line I've seen composed since I've been a sports fan
I
in
understand
the
what-
NFL.
Right, I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying
he
like
stepped right into that and he can run fast.
our offensive line
That's
will
all
only
you
be
need.
better next year.
Hold on.
All right,
Didn't
but
you
what
just
I'm
say
saying is-
we have a top 5 run offense right now, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Who are running backs right now? Where do they come from?
Yeah, but
Boom.
what happens at the end of a game when we can't for
CP?
example?
He was a
Yep.
fucking receiver for 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, but we're not getting the value out of him that we need because he's too old.
What about
to.
Algier?
Well, hold on. Ask that
round was
question
he
you were
drafted?
about to ask there.
5th. I'm not. Listen, guys, I'm not saying.
Well,
I'm
no,
sold
what
on
were
it.
you?
Who's that
what
other
point-
guy? Caleb
What were
Huntley?
you about to make?
Is that the other guy?
Hey, what were you about to say? You said what about at the end of the game when we?
I'm
what?
talking about like the Christian McCaffrey effect where he can make a play out of nothing. Like we don't have that. I get Cordell Patterson to an extent, but he's also he's not doing it to the extent of a Christian McCaffrey. Like I'm saying, when you hit that home run player, the one that can just win you a ball game, we don't have that at the running back position. Am I saying that's what we should go out and try to get? No, but I'm saying if we fill these other positions through free agency and we feel comfortable drafting him there, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
Like
but
I feel like
to me, you're more likely to find that player at other positions.
100%. The player that's going to win you a ball game is like quarterback and then
Yeah.
probably your
agreed,
lines.
quarterback, yes.
But it feels like running back is very low on that priority list that's going to win
gotta
you
be.
games.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess Derrick Henry is an exception because he's a freak of
exception
nature.
to the rule.
He's like the
Yes.
predator.
Yes.
Well, I'm
It's
not even
terrifying.
disagreeing with what you are saying in the sense that, if you look back even in the last Super Bowl winners, there really hasn't been a major running back. I agree with all these things you're saying. I'm just saying I don't know how free agency is going to go, so I don't know who I want yet at 10. And I'm saying
Sure.
I'm not completely opposed to him, is what I'm trying to say. Which maybe y'all are. Maybe after
I
all
am.
things are
Yes,
said.
I am completely opposed to
So
it.
no matter what happened
right
in free
now.
agency, you'd be
No matter
completely-
what,
Okay.
unless in
Chances
free
are-
agency,
chances are we draft him then.
yeah, unless we sign 9 linemen in free agency and a new quarterback and 2 wide receivers and a new tight end and some defensive backs,
Yeah,
then I'll be okay with us taking him at 10.
that seems fair.
But if not, I'm completely opposed to it. Yes.
All right, so let's think. Tampa Bay, Leonard Fournette popped off in that Super Bowl. Kansas City, I don't think they even needed it against San Francisco. I think they just threw the rock the whole time.
Yeah.
When New England beat the Rams 13-3, what the hell is that? I don't even remember that. That Super Bowl was so
That's
bad.
the Super Bowl I was talking about with Todd Gurley.
Right. Philadelphia 41-33 to New England. Who was the running back in that game?
Wait, in which one?
Philadelphia when they
It
beat
was
New England.
LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah, I think it was Blunt.
Was it really?
Yeah, because he won the previous year with the Patriots.
Patriots.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did 14 carries, 90 yards, and a touchdown. That's not bad. When Denver beat Carolina, that's Peyton Manning. When New England beat Seattle, that's Tom Brady.
Like
When
that was
Seattle
C.J.
when Seattle beat
Anderson, yeah.
Denver, that was Marshawn Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
And when Baltimore beat San Francisco,
And also Marshawn Lynch was Derrick Henry-esque. Like he was the
he
Derrick
was.
Henry
Yeah,
back
he
then.
was. And I think
So
Kenneth
that's
Walker
the
is
anomaly.
Kenneth Walker reminds me of that now, which I know he just got hurt again. So that's the thing with running backs too. They get hurt. But Kenneth Walker was hurt coming in.
Yeah.
they knew he was hurt when they
That's what we're
drafted him
saying.
Did
though.
get hurt. Yeah,
But let's say
that's what I'm
this.
saying, yeah.
They also knew he was hurt when they drafted him.
So you have to think about it from like a longevity perspective too. So basically, you have 5 years of probably the highest tier of running back that you're ever going to get,
Right.
Mhm.
or you could have 15 years of that high a grade of like offensive lineman.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's how you start building that depth. And
Do you take
consistency.
guards in first round? I don't know. I'm asking a legit question.
Yeah.
Because that's where we
Can, yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Okay. There's like, okay, I'm just asking. Like I don't know I haven't looked at the free agency market for guards or D linemen, but that's where my heart's at right now. But I'm just saying, if you fill those holes and that's their best player available and that's what they take, I won't be upset. I know y'all will be. But I could see myself being upset depending on if we don't do anything in free agency that way.
Fair.
Let's see how the year wraps up here, and we'll get
We'll get back into it
in the off season.
I think we'll end up drafting
Rapidly
another wide
approaching.
receiver sometime next year too, because
Probably.
we actually need one though behind London and Zacchaeus.
By
So,
the way,
hopefully not a first round one.
No, not first round one.
who do we have up? Who do we have?
What if we took Brock Bowers first round next year?
Darnell Washington, baby.
Be a better call than Kyle Pitts. But
Give me Brock Bowers and Kyle Pitts. You can put one outside all times. It would, and then you pay them tight end money instead of wide receiver money.
But then they'll do the Jimmy Graham and they'll get an arbitrator to make you pay them wide receiver money.
True. And then he won't be good ever again in his
Right.
career. Yeah, right.
Yeah. No. Okay. Why don't we do a little look ahead here, Blake? I actually don't know who we're playing next.
Yeah. So this Sunday we play the Saints in Louisiana. So our boys' first game is in the what's it called? The Superdome, Metrodome, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm. Superdome.
Superdome. Yeah. So that's his first game. Then we play the Ravens, followed by the Cardinals and the Buccaneers. The cool part is we have a chance to not only do we have a chance to knock Tom Brady out of the playoffs, potentially how the next weeks go, but we also have a chance of beating Tom Brady for the first time and clinching playoffs depending on how the next weeks go. I don't think that will be the case, but I do think there's a chance we knock the Bucs out. They have a hard schedule. That's the thing. If you look at everyone in our division schedule, the Bucs, their next couple games are the Bengals. I think they lose. They play the Cards like us, so they win that game. They play the Panthers, which I think they'd win that game, and then they play us. So if they lose twice, we pass them. Right. I think they win that game too.
They can win that game. Yeah.
I think they win that game too. But it's us. Like there's a chance the Falcons are there in the end of this, which is weird to say.
I want to make some predictions on this.
Do you have the over-unders for the game?
Yes.
Blursed bets.
All right. So the game in New Orleans is the Saints are a 5.5 point favorite right now.
Makes sense.
Over under is
Makes
set at 43.5.
43.5.
I'm gonna take the Saints with the points, and I'm gonna take the. Did you say 43.5?
Yeah.
I did.
I'm gonna take the over. So we're gonna go Saints points over for me.
I'm gonna go Falcons in the under.
I'm gonna go.
I think a close game. I think the Falcons gonna at least win 3.
I'm gonna say Falcons and over. I think we're gonna see something. And I think we're gonna lean on the run game still, and I think that we can open up some play action for Ritter and make those reads a little easier.
Fair.
So hopefully get him out of the pocket a little.
I wish he had Kyle Pitts to throw to.
I hope you guys are right, but yeah, I don't know.
That sucks. I wish he had both London and Pitts, but I think we have enough weapons still for us to be able to compete against the Saints. Like the Saints aren't a great team.
As their record shows.
Also, how much? All right, question. All right, I'm happy we're Falcons fans and not Saints fans for the one purpose of how much worse would have been a Saints fan this year to come in the year thinking you're a playoff team, and then this is the garbage you had to deal with all year.
I don't know why they thought they were a playoff team.
Yeah, they were the whole national media thought they were. I don't understand either. Now, like especially when you look at their team, I guess people were just buying in the fact that Winston was going to be good and Dennis was not a step down from Sean Payton. And
that's my thing. It's like they forgot Sean Payton.
coaches do make a difference.
Oh yeah, they make the
Look at
most
Tampa Bay as
difference,
well. Tampa Bay
perhaps.
right now. I'm not saying that Todd Bowles is a bad coach, but it's the only change, and they've been way worse.
Yep. And we don't have to get in Bucks drama, but yeah.
Y'all want to talk about fantasy or no? We're gonna move on.
I don't have much to talk about fantasy wise.
Now, congratulations to those that made the playoffs. If you're fighting for the toilet right now, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
May God be with you, or whatever you believe in. And
wow,
I got to be fair to all. Fair to all.
Very inclusive.
I'll just tack on. Tis the season to take risks. If you're going, I think we said the same thing last week, but like go put in a player that can score 20, or like some random guy. If you're dealing with some players that have not been performing at all, just take a risk.
Dude, I feel like that's been my team recently. I feel like I have a lot of good players, and I don't know who to start ever. Like with like my last 3 players.
Dude, isn't it wild like that I didn't have any starting receivers this week, and I was able to pick up 2 off of waivers and beat you still? That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is weird when your player is projected for 10 points, scores 40-something points. Yeah, that's wild, dude. It's also wild when the Cowboys, who have a smash game where you're like, oh, both Zeke and CeeDee Lamb will thrive, and then the Cowboys barely beat the Houston Texans. So that's just NFL, and that's fantasy. Like, listen, I learned last year that anything can happen no matter when you think you have the best team, and it might happen again this year. I might lose, and that's okay. It's part of fantasy. I made playoffs, and I'll keep.
I don't know what it be, but it sure do.
But it sure do.
How about them dogs?
Yeah, bet.
Are we talking about the dogs today?
Them dogs.
I'd say we just need to touch on Stet here for a minute. He came in 5th in Heisman voting. I thought it was 4th.
He got 4th.
Who put 5th?
Oh, I accidentally erased it, and I thought it said 5th.
You ass.
So I just put it back.
Yeah, so going into the ceremony, so it's cool that he got invited and all that. But yeah, I kind of expected a little bit higher finish. I don't know that I expected him to win. I gave him like a 20% chance or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt like he ended a little low there for my liking. What do you guys think?
No, I think that's about right for me personally.
Yeah. It's a stat game, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah, that's all this trophy is, and his numbers just weren't there where everyone else's were. Which, I mean, the sad part about it is if you look at big game Stat wins there, if you do his numbers for the up through 3 quarters, I bet you his numbers are better than all of them or right there in par. But it's that 4th quarter not being able to play.
I agree. And no, I think the first thing you said, though, is the main point, and that's that if this were based off big game performances, he's the best of everybody that was up there. It's not even close. I did like what Caleb Williams said. Caleb Williams kind of won me over a little more than he already had with his speech. Particularly the part I love. It just shows me I think his priorities are straight, because I remember he got up there and he was like, "Look, I may be up here on this stage," but then he pointed to the other Heisman finalists and he was like, "But all of you guys get to go to the playoffs."
Right, but y'all are all playing on.
Yeah. You guys are all going to play in the playoffs, and I'm not. Which I just thought that was cool. That's cool. That in the middle of winning the Heisman, he was still thinking about that.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed. And he's right. Suck it, USC. Play in a real conference.
They're about to be.
USC?
Yeah, them and UCLA moved to the Big 12, I think.
Big 10. Yeah.
Or Big 10 or whatever it is. Yeah.
Or was it the Big 12?
I think it was the Big 12.
It was something that
they're
didn't
taking
make
Texas
sense.
and Oklahoma spots.
Oh, no. Were they?
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Because I remember thinking it was going to be weird that there's going to be a USC West Virginia game.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Wow. Okay.
The Pac-12 messed
like when the Braves were in the
losing
West.
them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, but so Hayden, Blake and I talked about it before, while you were having technical difficulties prior to recording. But as I mentioned earlier, I got a new little part since I don't have much UGA to talk about here. We got a little trivia seg coming up.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it's not going to be long. It's going to be 3 questions. Obviously, you two are pitted against one another. We're going to grade it out. We're going to see who wins here. And if it goes well, we're going to keep it going and get a tally later on. All right. So,
how do we buzz in?
First person to say a word. Yes. Or no. I'd tell you what. Actually, you know what? The best way to buzz in here? Say your name. You say Blake or you say Hayden?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, granted, Hayden's name is longer, so you got a bit of an advantage here. But yeah. Yes. All right. So let's get to it. Question numero un. Which NFL team's logo has a symbol that represents the flower of life?
Is that the Saints?
Is that your buzz in?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Okay, so Blake, you'll just say Blake, and Hayden will do that little horn thing.
How was that?
That was
I got
pretty
sound
sick.
effects over here.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Yes, boom, nailed it.
That's a
Saints.
good guess because I was like, I don't even know a flower. That's a flower, man.
It's not a flower per se.
It represents
a
the flower. Okay.
Yeah, it's the French fleur de lis symbol.
Nice.
And the fleur de lis directly translates to lily flower. And the lily is often referred to as the flower of life. If you guys didn't know that.
Huh.
Yeah, we're teaching folks things here. Okay.
Love
Yes. All right. Question number 2.
Captain's teaching
Hayden.
stuff.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be honest with you, Blake. You're in trouble because this next one is right up Hayden's alley.
it. Uh-oh.
Who last won the MLB Triple Crown and when
Blake.
did they do that?
Oh, is it Miguel Cabrera?
Oh,
All right. So Blake did buzz in first. Yes, it was Miguel Cabrera.
2014.
Okay, Hayden, do you have a guess for a half point? I guess. Do you have a guess on the year?
I'm gonna say 2013.
It was 2012. It's
Yeah,
2012.
it
wasn't
was
it?
2012.
Fuck,
Yeah,
I knew
right,
it.
right.
I said 2014. I was like, maybe it was more recent than that. It was
Yep.
2012.
No, yeah, 2012, and did it in the American League. Imagine that. So let's finish up here. So I guess we're tied. I guess technically here.
I got half a point. Yeah, it's a two-parter.
Well, yeah, that's
no, maybe
true.
that was a 2-point question.
Yeah, we'll go with that. It
There
was a
we go.
2-point question. You guys are tied. All right. So
On the fly. That's how we do it.
that's how we do it, folks. All right, question number 3, and I think the most difficult question, but my favorite one. What college basketball team located in the state of Indiana? Well, I guess you know what? Actually, let me rephrase that question. Which Indiana college basketball team last made it to the Final Four? So I don't mean which Indiana University team. I mean which university from the state of Indiana
Right.
last
Located
went to
in
the
the
Final
state.
Four.
So it's not Gonzaga.
That is hard.
That's in Washington.
It's a completely different state. Yep.
Yep.
Right. I'm just thinking of all those weird. Oh, Blake. Is it
Okay.
Marquette?
It is not.
Ah,
I think
I
that's in
didn't know.
Michigan, I think.
That was my guess.
Or no,
jeez.
Marquette's in Illinois. I think that's a Chicago school.
Damn.
maybe. But yes, all right. So not that. All right, Hayden, do you have a guess here?
Marquette. Is it it's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Marquette is.
Oh, it's in Milwaukee. Okay. I didn't know that.
That was my new cousin.
See?
I'm gonna go crazy and say Indiana.
I love it. I love the guess. Incorrect as well, though.
Right.
It would be none other than the Butler University.
Butler, darn it, man! I knew it
didn't
was
know
one of
that was in
those
Indiana.
schools
Yeah.
like Butler, and it was
Yeah.
coached by the guy who's now the president of operations for the Boston Celtics, Brad
Yes,
Stevens.
Brad Stevens. That's
Yeah.
right. And Gordon
Ooh.
Hayward was on that.
Yeah,
team
on that
as
team.
well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
damn, Butler.
Yeah.
That's a good
old
question,
Butler. Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah.
that. All right, so
That was fun.
I thought that was cool, and so yeah,
I like
I
that.
think I'm going to keep incorporating that. It doesn't have to be a part of my UGA seg. I just wanted to fit it in there.
Oh, that was sick.
Yeah, but all right. So UGA wise though, I do want to kind of touch on men's basketball because we haven't talked about them since I think like their second game, like a month ago. And Blake and I were kind of talking about them before the pod. They've, in Mike White's first year, and not the quarterback of the Jets, but our guy's also named Mike White. He's honestly done okay. We've had turnover issues, and I mean turning the ball over, but I think that comes from our other turnover issues and that we had a lot of players transfer. We've become more solid. I'm excited to see how we do against a good Notre Dame program. Did you say it was this Sunday?
The 18th. Yes, it was this coming
that's
Sunday.
This upcoming
Yeah.
Sunday. So I guess they're off for finals probably, like we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Would that make sense? Anyway, But yeah, so they'll play Notre Dame this Sunday, but I believe Georgia is currently 7-3. And they lost narrowly to our hated rivals Georgia Tech. They actually beat us 79-77. I will say Georgia Tech had a bit of a boost there because that was also the game that they introduced Brent Key as their head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought him out at halftime.
We're actually undefeated at home right now. The Dogs are.
The Dogs. Yeah. Now we haven't played a ton of competition.
No.
Outside of that first the second game against Wake Forest. We played a decent Miami of Ohio team, and then we played UAB, who beat us pretty good, and they're also pretty good. Outside of that, we got wins against Hampton, Florida A&M, East Tennessee State, St. Joseph's, Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio is probably our best win of the year, to be honest with you. But yeah, so we're excited to see what they do against Notre Dame. We're excited to see what Mike White's going to continue to do in his first season. But as we all know, it really doesn't mean shit until you get to your conference schedule, especially in the SEC. That's become one of the best basketball conferences over the past 10 years, one of the best basketball conferences in the nation. I think we have
with Auburn, Arkansas, Florida, Kentucky, Alabama.
Alabama's actually ranked 4th in the nation in basketball.
Right,
How
but
crazy is that?
I was just thinking like last year, like of all the teams that were.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that program has come on crazy strong.
Oh, for sure.
Auburn, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Tennessee,
Arkansas.
Missouri's
been good this year.
Alabama, those teams I just named are all ranked in the top 25.
Wow.
And then of course Missouri is good. They just lost to Kansas, but before that they were 9-0. And I mean it's Kansas. So
yeah.
What were you gonna say, Blake?
No, I was just gonna say now I'm looking at their schedule. They played Wichita State, which is like always a hard out in basketball. They beat them, Missouri did, but besides that, Kansas is really the only good team they played.
And they got the shit beat out of them.
Yeah,
by Kansas,
they got beat pretty bad.
That's not great.
Winning the games you get scheduled, you got to do.
Penn's an okay team. Penn plays over there in the Ivy League, and
they won that game.
They're constantly they beat Penn. Penn's always competing with Princeton and Harvard to be the Ivy League representative in the tourney. But anyway, yeah. So that's talking men's basketball. Not really much to go on from there, but yeah, like I said, next Sunday, tune in if you can. UGA Notre Dame.
Speaking of men's basketball,
yes.
Hawks.
Actually, you know what? Nope. You know what? Hayden already played the thing. I'm gonna respect.
Hawks.
I'm gonna respect it. We're gonna respect the timestamp of that.
Hawks.
That.
Of
Yes.
that. Yeah, of
Mhm.
that. So
Mhm.
all I really want to talk about the Hawks is kind of what we talked about earlier with the whole drama going on. DJ M's out for 2 weeks. John Collins out for about 2 weeks. Trae Young's
that one hurts. That first one hurts a
yeah,
lot.
oh, it hurts a lot. Yeah, he's been our motor for this team this year. DeAndre Hunter's first game back is tonight from injury. He's our only starter playing tonight of our starting 5. Trae Young's he's been kind of injured, and so it was a back-to-back. We figured he was going to rest tonight. Same with Bogey. He came back from injury, so he's resting from a back-to-back. And after an overtime win last night over the Bulls. So what I'll say is this.
Wait, sorry. We need to whether it's now or after what you're about to say. We got to talk about how we won the game against the Bulls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So let's talk about that real quick. Buzzer beater.
Did you see that, Hayden?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, our rookie
my
AJ Griffin.
goodness.
That's his second buzzer beater of the year, by the way.
Yeah, he did that other crazy play to beat.
Yes, a layup to win.
Yeah, a layup at the buzzer.
Yes.
To beat somebody. I can't remember who it was.
What I'll say is I think AJ Griffin was someone who probably could have been about maybe I'd say a top 5, top 7 pick. And the reason he fell to us because Duke just didn't use him as their star player because they had Banchero. They didn't have to.
They did. Right.
So he was more of a side piece. But man, he can play. Like he plays pretty good defense. He's a good shooter. He's been impressed me with his handles actually.
Yeah, he's been really exciting.
So I've really enjoyed it. And honestly, they've been playing him at a 3, and now they're moving DeAndre Hunter to the 4 tonight because DeAndre Hunter's got a little bit of size, which is kind of cool. He can do that. But man, it's been tough to be a Hawks fan recently. We're just losing games we should win. I looked back at the schedule today. There's about 5 or 6 games that we should have won or could have won that we lost this year. And if you win those 4 or 5 games, we're in 2nd place or 3rd place, and we're not in the middle of this mix like we are. So we're staying relevant. But we're 4-6 in our last 10 games. We've had drama between our superstar and our coach. John Collins rumors are surfacing again. I just think something has to change.
Yeah.
Something has to change, or we're not going to break through whatever's holding us back right now. I don't know what it will be. I don't know if it'll be the coach being fired. I don't know if it'll be John Collins getting traded, but something has to change.
So one thing I wanted to talk about to that end, and I agree, is that Trey, when it comes to his legacy, and how he's already kind of negatively viewed by some in the media, albeit I think those are unfair views. But one that I think would be a fair view that would still be negative that would come out if we fire Nate McMillan, Trey now has a chance of becoming known as a coach killer. Okay, and that's not a good thing to have. Because while I don't think coaching matters as much as it does in other sports versus how it matters in basketball.
But when it does matter, it matters a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the few moments it actually matters, you do want that head coach there that can make a difference. I'm not saying that Nate McMillan's that guy. I'm not saying we shouldn't make Nate McMillan, or that we shouldn't fire Nate McMillan if that's the change that needs to happen. But what I am saying is that if it occurs, and if the Hawks don't go on a run like they did when we fired Lord Pierce, then perhaps Trey gets that coach killer moniker, and it would dissuade the head coach that could perhaps make the difference from coming
right
here. Because he's like, I don't want to play with Trey, or I don't want to coach Trey because I'm afraid if I piss him off, he's going to get me fired.
And I think that's fair to say. The only defense I'll have of Trey is when they hired Lloyd Pierce, I don't think he was their long-term solution.
No, I don't think that he was either.
So I'll say when they fired him, I think the biggest issue was Schlenk giving Nate McMillan that deal. I think he gave him that deal because Trey wanted him here. The reports were that Trey liked Nate, and that's why they gave him that deal, on top of just like he did turn our season around. But I think that's been Schlenk's biggest mistake, was giving a coach that's proven time and time again he can't get past that first round of playoffs, second round of playoffs. Like, he's just not that guy. Man, there's been some players, old players, come out and talk about him recently, saying like he's just not a good coach. Like, who have either played for him or played against him, and talked about just what his pitfalls are, and I can't connect with the younger players now.
Right.
And so I will say on Trey's defense is like, I think that's honestly falls on Schlenk a little bit.
I guess I see what you're saying there, for sure.
Just because he comes from that same lineage of LP, like he was Lloyd Pierce's assistant, and so.
But it could be a bit of, there's just one thing, and this isn't unique to sports. This happens in everyday life in any job. I feel like, which is that if you have a boss that isn't doing a great job, and eventually the team makes enough noise, and that boss gets looked at, and perhaps removed from his role. That happens in every job. And a lot of times when that happens, the assistant to that boss, the number two,
will take over.
Can be before the boss is removed, that number two perhaps can be everybody's friend. Right. Because they don't have the full burden of the buck stopping with them.
Right.
And so they can be everybody's friend, and they can be well liked when they're not the man in charge. But then after the man in charge is removed and they give the role to the number two,
system,
and it's their responsibility, and everything answers to them, and their head is you know what, that analogy, I'm not sure exists.
No, I know you're saying. I know you're saying. You go from being the friend to now you're the boss, and then the relationships change.
Yes.
And the person you liked, for whatever reason you liked, may not act the same way anymore, because
they might not act the same way because they have a different job now.
I get that.
And I think maybe that was the case. Perhaps it was a bit of a honeymoon period with Nate McMillan and Trey when they fired Lloyd. Or Lloyd. And went on that run.
Right.
But then we had a full offseason of Nate implementing his plan. And I'm not saying that Nate did a bad job in that, because I don't know. None of us know.
Right, none of us know.
But what I am saying is that perhaps Trey was like, oh, shit, this dude is different than he was when he was the assistant coach.
Yeah.
Or the interim coach.
100%. And I think something else to think about too is, at least when watching the games, I know like basketball heads, at least on Twitter, they talk about the part that makes the most mad about Nate McMillan is that you have two of the most dynamic ball handlers and passers in the world on your team, but your ball movement is so elementary, and it's very like much of just one pass, shoot, or like we don't have much of like the Golden State where it's pass to, or the San Antonio or the Bucks. Yeah, all of the, if you look at the lineage of God, what's the
Budenholzer.
Popovich? Yeah, which Budenholzer comes from. Yeah,
he does. Yes. If
Yeah,
you just
like-
extend that tree branch up one more.
further. Yeah, if you look
Yeah.
at the basketball where the people actually pass it to each other a lot, like those free flowing offenses, I think would help Trey so much, get him some more open shots and take a little bit of pressure off. But it's hard to know if that's a Nate issue or if that's a Trey issue, and we
Yeah.
won't know. And
Well, go ahead.
well, I was saying, and if it is a Trey thing, let's find a coach that can help Trey either break through that, or let's find a coach that can help every team help Trey be the best he can be in his position. So, because like it just seems like our offense is so whack,
Exactly.
and it should be with the players we have.
Did you guys and this will connect? Did you guys watch The Last Dance on Netflix? Or
I did not. Is
it
that
was
the Michael
ESPN when it
Jordan?
came out? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. One of the best sports documentaries I've ever watched in my life. Hayden, did you watch it?
I did.
Yeah. So you'll remember in there probably that one of the craziest firings I've ever seen was Doug Collins was the head coach of the Bulls before Phil Jackson.
Mhm.
The man led them to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they fired him after that. And that's one of the biggest. That was at that time, and I think still is today, one of the most controversial firings in basketball history.
Until what Phil Jackson does.
Until what Phil Jackson was able to do when he came in. And listening to Michael Jordan himself describe the differences between Doug Collins' approach to that team and Phil Jackson's approach, he did not like Michael liked Doug Collins. He did not like Phil Jackson at first. And that was because Phil Jackson came in. Doug Collins' whole thing was his entire offensive scheme was get the ball to Michael.
Mike, yeah.
Where Phil Jackson came in and he said, we're going to actually play basketball. And we just happen to have Michael Jordan on the team.
Yeah.
And look what they did with that. They won 6 titles out of 8 years.
Right.
And so, look, I'm not saying we need to go get the next Phil Jackson.
I mean, it'd be great if we did.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But that's highly unlikely, of course. But what I am saying is that we need to find a coach that was not afraid to implement a superstar into their scheme instead of making a scheme around the superstar.
Right. Yeah. You need to push the guy to grow. Because like all the best players continue to grow and they get challenged. And like the same with LeBron and Eric Spoelstra. LeBron didn't like Eric Spoelstra and they won 2 championships. And part of it, like Eric Spoelstra's a great coach. Look at the team he's brought in all the way to these
of all the coaches that LeBron's ever had, he's by far the best.
Yeah, but a lot of people say Tyronn Lue's a good coach. I don't.
Oh my God, I don't understand.
I don't understand it. I
had a stroke.
And maybe I don't know enough about NBA, but a lot of people say that. I don't get it. Eric Spoelstra, I agree. I think is the best, and I think sometimes too, you just need that culture change. Like it's just not working. Like a problem I've seen in a lot of our losses is just like the team not hustling, or team not doing it. I was like, the locker room's lost. It seems like on some games. So it's like
some games, right?
Yeah. So the culture, I just feel like sometimes just a culture switch could help. I don't know. So my point about the Hawks right now and where we'll stand is that something's got to change, and I hope it happens during the year. I don't know what the change needs to be, but I don't get paid to do that. I have a lot of likes. A lot of people are talking about getting Kuzma for John Collins. We lose out on defense, but Kuzma is a great offensive player who could really help the system, or help the team. But then I worry, will the system use him though? Like, will we don't use John Collins to his potential, so will Nate use Kuzma to his? I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah.
So,
no, but I wouldn't hate that trade.
No,
I would have last year. I wouldn't now.
Yeah. Oh, Kuzma's been. That's the thing is like now I don't even know if they would do it. Kuzma's been a better player.
Yeah, they might
Collins.
be like,
yeah,
I don't think we do want John Collins.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, that's a good point.
That's all I got about the Hawks.
Well, who do we have coming up next?
So the Hawks play right now, like I said, with missing 4 of their 5 starters.
Oh, that's right. It's the Grizzlies.
We're playing the Grizzlies. We're actually
that.
only down 35-29 right now. So down 6. If the Grizzlies are playing without John Morant.
There it is. Oh man, that sucks so bad for Rick. One of our friends, Rick, is at that game tonight
he is at the game.
in Memphis.
He didn't get to see Trae Young, John
He doesn't
Morant,
get to see Trae, Ja. Who else?
DJ M's out. John Collins
DJ
is out.
and John Collins.
He doesn't get to see Bogey. He doesn't get to see any of the good players really. From he get to see DeAndre Hunter. AJ Griffin has 12 points through the first, so which is pretty cool. Jalen Johnson has 8 points, but he has the point guards for the Hawks tonight are Trenton Forrest and Aaron Holiday.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But Rick, I don't think he'll feel too bad. It's not one of those instances where a family saves up money to go see LeBron,
right,
and they haven't been to an NBA game all year, and they go and he sits out. It's not that situation because from what I understand, talking to Rick, this is already like his 5th or 6th Grizzlies game this season.
They're good this year. They're
He's been
17
to.
9. They're in second place.
It's because apparently they actually get tickets through where Rick works.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he's been able to take advantage of that, and really cool to see a good Grizzlies team that many times already.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping the Hawks turn around so I spend money on tickets, but I haven't wanted to recently.
Yeah, no.
And like we told you, as a fan, that's your best way to show you're just unhappy with something is by not buying tickets.
Exactly.
But that's all I have about the Hawks.
All right, feckin' heck, let's get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in once again. We'll be back next week. Shout out Oh No, throwing that music together.
Oh no.
That
Oh,
new
no.
slapper. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. We'll
Yeah,
throw
I
it at the end
thoroughly
here.
love that.
Yeah, it is a dope song.
Yeah,
Thanks
it
again
rocks
for
my
listening.
tits. I'm not gonna lie.
Share with your friends. Thank you guys for sharing so far, and thanks for listening. We'll see you
Yeah,
next
thanks for
week.
listening, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Deuces.